Hi guys, welcome again to another session of English. Today we are going to look at poetry. So we'll start with the definition of a poet. A poet is a person who writes poems. Now, I know you'll be asking, what gender does a poet belong to? Well, it doesn't belong to any gender. Actually, it might be male or else it might be female. So, it might be a boy or it might be a girl. So, a poet is a person who writes poems. Poems are written by poets. Now, let's go to page 98. I know we have been doing poetry ever since we started school from grade 1 up to now. We're still doing poetry. So on page 98 there is thinking more about poetry. Now these poets, they use different literary techniques. All right, these poets use different literary techniques. Now, why do they use literary techniques? So on page 100 of your learner's book, it says, poets use techniques to help create pictures in the reader's mind. Now, if you remember very well about this, you will remember that I taught you about descriptive writing. I told you that each and every time you're writing about something, you must make sure that you're creating a picture in the reader's mind. There must be that picture in the reader's mind. The reader must create a picture of what is happening in the story. Okay, create vivid pictures. Now, how do we do this? We use adjectives. But anyway, today we are looking at poetry. So, a poet uses different literary techniques. Some of the literary techniques which these poets use are repetition, personification, similes, and metaphors. Now, just to remind you, these are not the only literary techniques which they use. They have a lot which haven't been mentioned. But because of your book, we will only use what we have been taught. So, let's start with repetition. What is repetition? So, this is when words or phrases are deliberately repeated so as to bring them to the attention of the reader. I will repeat. Repetition. This is when words or phrases are deliberately repeated to bring them to the attention of the reader. Go back to page 98 of your learner's book. Down there, the last line of the poem's title is Silver. By silver reeds in a silver stream. You see that the word silver has been repeated. So that is what we call repetition. They have deliberately repeated the word silver. This is to bring it to your attention. They have emphasized the word silver. Again, there's also another line which says, with silver claws and silver eye. Again, the word silver has been deliberately repeated to bring it to your attention. So that is about repetition. Then we also have personification. Personification is when human-like qualities are given to an object or an animal. When human-like qualities are given to an object or an animal. Well, this personification can be seen on page 100. Examples. The light of the moon softly tiptoed through my window. Now we all know that it's only humans who tiptoe, who move on their toes, tiptoeing so that they should not produce a sound. Now this light tiptoed through the windows of this poet's room. So that is what we call personification. That is what we call personification. So we have looked at repetition and personification. Thank you very much for paying attention. If you have questions, please ask.